Hi, I'm Donna Jordan from Jordan Fabrics. I like to look around online at pictures of quilts. I get a lot of inspiration that way, and I found this picture here. I don't know who made this, but it's very, very nice. And so I've sketched out a pattern to make a quilt that looks like this. And I'm gonna make it with 5-inch charm squares. So let's go down to the store, pick out some fabrics, and I'll show you exactly how to make it. I've been working on the numbers for this pattern. I did some calculations here, and don't worry, I will have this written up as a complete pattern for you by the time the video is done. And we're gonna need 3 packs of charm squares. Those are the 5-inch squares. Each pack has about 40 squares. For this pattern to work, we need some contrast in our squares. We need some darks and lights, or at least some mediums and lights. So let's take a look and see what will work. We have lots of different charm squares to work with. We have bright, colorful ones, and that would work if we used a real light background with them. Something like this would work. You'd have to call these the lights and these the darks. This one has a nice blend of lights and colorful things. That would work, but I want something with a little more pattern in it. I've been wanting to try these squares in something. This is a group from Robert Kaufman called Garden Studies. So we've got a blend of mediums and lights. So we're going to use 3 of these packs of charm squares, and then I'm going to add in another pack of charm squares that's solid cream. First thing we need to do is to separate this group of charm squares into the colorful ones. Those all have a lot of color, and these ones I would consider cream here. So I'm going to open up all these packs and just separate out all of these that have some color from all of these that are really, really light. I've got all of these separated, and there's more here in the medium to dark pile than there is in the light pile. And that's why I'm adding these solid ones here, because I need to have an even amount. I need to have the same number of lights as I do darks. These are all going to combine to make half square triangles. So we need to mark the back side of all of the light squares. And I find it easiest to put my ruler from point to point, or a little bit left of point to point, and then draw a light pencil line. And the reason I'm moving it over slightly is because the pencil width, you know, the lead of the pencil has a little bit of width. So if I do that, now you can see the line is going exactly down the center. Once you have all of those marked, bring them right over to the machine, and then just take one of the lights and one of the darks. It doesn't matter which goes with which. Line them up, and then we're going to stitch a 1/4 inch away from this line, a 1/4 inch down one side and up the other. Now my presser foot is a 1/4 inch, so it makes it real easy for me to go down there. And then I'm going to spin it around and go down the other side. Now all we have to do is slice it right along that drawn line. So I'm going to use my blade and my ruler. Now we'll iron these open. I like to put the light triangle down on the ironing board. Then I'm going to peel it open and make sure that this seam stays nice and straight and doesn't swerve or swoop. I like to use a dry iron and then a little steam. We'll do the other one. Now we know they're nice and flat, nice and square. I'm going to trim off these dog ears here. And that is all we have to do. So I'm going to take all the rest of my squares and stitch them up exactly just like that. I've got a whole bunch of half square triangles done. Now we can lay out the quilt. That's really the fun part. I have a lot of light blue and a few dark blue, and I'm going to put the dark blue in the middle of the quilt. So let's grab some of these off here. We're going to make a star with these dark ones here, and I probably will trade around some of the pieces. I think I will put the darks in the middle with the solid, not the light prints, in the middle here. So I'm going to make 4 of these guys. And then we need to put the points of the star around. So the points are going to go like this. So I'm going to use the opposite color that I used, not the opposite color, the opposite print that I used there. I'm going to do that for every point and build this star out. Now we are starting to see the shape of the star pop out. It takes quite a few pieces before we can see that. Now I can see it. So that's the middle of the quilt. And I used the darkest pieces in the star there so it will show up. Now we need some corners here. And I think we will use lighter guys in the corners. Yeah, that's looking good. So this step takes a lot of experimentation because I have a lot of different pieces here. So there's one star there. I'm going to now start building the star that's in the corner. And I've still got plenty of dark pieces. So let's start building another one. For this corner star here, I'm going to use a lighter blue center. So I'm going to take 2 different light prints here, this light blue, and I'm going to put them in opposite corners there. We've still got the strong star points. We'll fill in with the corners here. Now that star is laid out. So I'm going to do the exact same kind of layout for the star that goes in this corner, that corner, and that corner. This is the last of the big stars. And I think at this point, it's going to be much easier for me to sew these 5 stars together before we take all these other guys and lay them out. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So to make one star, I'm just going to pick this up in order, 1 row at a time. I'm going to stitch this together and put it right back down. I'm going to lay the row back out. So that's the order it goes in, and I'm just going to stitch these together. The seams may nest and may not here in the corner. This one is, so the back one is going that way, the top one's going this way, so that makes it easy to get these matched up. So just use your careful 1/4 inch seam, and we will press these seam allowances to the right. We will press every seam allowance in this row to the right. There's the first row. Now we'll get the next row. Now for this row, we are going to press all of the seam allowances to the left. There's the second row. So the seam allowances here are all going this way, and the seam allowances on this row are going the opposite way. So when we sew these 2 rows together here, they're going to nest, and it's going to make it real easy to match the intersections. So I'm going to keep alternating. Seam allowances that way, seam allowances that way. For this row, they'll be going that way. For this row, they'll be going that way. Then I can stitch the whole block together. This is the last star block. Now we've got it ironed nice and flat. We're going to put it back with the rest of the blocks. Now we are ready to fill in with these guys. So I'm going to be making kind of a chevron shape here, and I'm not going to worry about what fabric goes where. After I get it all laid out, I may trade around a little bit if I don't want 2 fabrics together, but just keep laying this out in a chevron pattern here, a pointy thing, till we get the whole thing laid out. So now that we've got a lot of it laid out in a chevron pattern, you can see that this is also a 4x4 block patchwork, just like our stars were. So I'm going to sew it together using the exact same method. I'm going to put these seam allowances to the right, these to the left, to the right, and to the left. There. Now all 4 of the non-star blocks are done, and every block is actually the same. They're just turned. So if I move this, you can see the 4 blocks easier. I'm going to sew them together exactly the same way I did with the stars, alternating the directions of the seam allowances. Then I'll put all 9 blocks together, and then we'll see what it looks like. The patchwork is all done, and now we need to pick out a couple of borders. Anything from this collection is going to look good on that quilt because it has all of these blue and cream fabrics in it. I think that this soft fabric with the writing on it, it's got all kinds of flowers, butterflies, garden themed things. We'll do that for a small inner border. And I love this large floral, so we'll do that on the outside. I have the borders stitched on, and I've got the quilt loaded onto the long arm here. We need to pick a thread color. Now this quilt is very soft, and I don't want the thread to show at all, so these are my 3 choices. Any of them would work, but I really think that this oatmeal colored cream is going to blend in the best. For a quilting pattern, I know I want to do flowers. This one would be very pretty. I don't like it quite as much because when you repeat it, there's a little bit too much space between the roses for what I would like. So I have another one called Posies. That one is better because when you repeat it, it's still nice and even. So that's what we will do on this quilt. The quilt is all done. I'm calling this the 5-star quilt because you can see those 5 stars, center and corners. It turned out really soft, really pretty in these floral prints. If you used dark charm squares, you would get a bolder pattern. But even in these soft ones, you can still see this diamond here, bigger and bigger diamonds with the stars superimposed on top of that. I like the solids that I filled in with, and I like the soft quilting little posies on there. It looks really, really good. The backing, I used the blue with the garden sayings on it. It's very soft. Now the blue colors, blue is just a relaxing color. This would be a great master bedroom color theme for you because that helps us go to sleep. Nice, calm colors. Thanks for watching our tutorial today on how to make the 5-star quilt. Now, we're going to have another giveaway. It's springtime, and that means baby shower time. So we're giving away 2 quilts today. We've got Safari Swank. This was a panel and some patchwork around it. Really fun, boy or girl. And then we've also got a little baby Bargello that's done all in batiks. So it's very easy to enter the giveaways. All you do is click the link below that says giveaway and enter your email address and your name, and it's open to everyone worldwide. Good luck. Now, if you don't want to miss any of our latest tutorials, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Happy quilting!